welcome back. Bad news, I am afraid to say. It has begun. The novelty of the Corona Diaries 4 weeks in, incredibly, has started to wear off. Now, this is a really important episode because I mentioned, I think in my 4th or 5th video, that I believe in life one of the main reasons people fail is because they start something new which is productive and healthy and beneficial to their lives. They enjoy the early stages, you know, that they're telling everybody about it, they're excited, they're really pleased with themselves, it's a whole new me. And then they realise that it's not quite as easy as first imagined, and that the novelty is beginning to wear off. I gave it the name, the novelty curve, the last time we spoke about this. And it's effectively the difference between the early days and then the drop of excitement when you've got to push on through to keep on the path. And that has begun with the Corona Diaries. It's actually quite fascinating. I can see why it's happening. I'm amazed that it's lasted this long. You know, we're 4 weeks in. I think this is my 20th or 21st video. And what normally happens with these things, you normally get about a week or 2 into the activity, and that's when you start to waver a little bit. And this is 4 weeks in. And as I said, I know why. When I launched this, there was a lot of apprehension, there was a lot of anxiety. I was worried about doing it. And by and large, I got a really incredible reaction, posting it on my social media. My missus was talking about it. My subscribers were going up. And because I'm new to all this, I didn't realise that was just kind of like early adopters, people doing me a favour that never had any intention of watching a single video. You know, and I started to see the views start to plateau out, but the duration that people were watching them increase. So what's naturally happened there, of my 55 subscribers, 30 of them, this doesn't relate to, they've had enough of me, the list will probably go on. And the other 25, they're enjoying these videos, they're getting a bit out of them. And I have to say, if you'd have told me that 25 people were going to be almost on a weekly basis sending me really encouraging text messages, telling me that they've changed certain things about their life, telling me that they've started to do X, Y, and Z because they've gained inspiration from these videos, I'd have been fucking made up, absolutely chuffed to bits. So what is today's episode all about? It's about this novelty wearing off, and it's really about reiterating that it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're doing videos on YouTube or you're starting to read books every night or you're starting to eat healthy. I've just got to repeat myself that if you start out and you don't expect the novelty to wear off, you've got a much higher chance of failing and continuing down the path. You need to remember that the early stages, that's where the novelty is. And you need to recognize and catch this negative feeling as soon as it starts to tingle. What I'm trying to say is, I recognize that these diaries are becoming a little bit more difficult to do every day. The subject matters are becoming something which I need to put a bit of thought into. Things aren't maybe flowing as naturally as they did in the first 3 weeks of videos. But because I recognise that feeling, because I know that that means there's a good chance, if I don't double my efforts, if I don't put a bit of planning and preparation into these videos, if I don't keep pushing and not allow my inner bitch to win, because let's face it, as soon as you start to lose favour with these things, the inner bitch is, they're in the long grass. They sense weakness and they're ready to pounce. They're ready to take you down. And you can't allow that to happen. Because if you do, everything you've done will be undone. This pain that I'm going through now is just temporary. However, quitting is permanent. And you don't want to be labelled as a quitter. You don't want to be known as the guy that started the videos during lockdown and then gave up halfway through because actually he didn't know how long lockdown was going to take and he just got a bit bored of doing it. He didn't really mean it. He doesn't really give a shit if anybody gets anything out of these X, Y, Z. The list goes on. So I want to finish by putting it into context that I believe every time you make a decision to do something good and you start, a new path emerges. And you will realise that on that path are opportunities that you couldn't have imagined before you started the activity. With me, with these diaries and these videos, I started doing them just trying to overcome an anxiety. And since then, I've realised that my presentation skills are improving. Since then, I've realised my confidence of speaking possibly on other people's podcasts or YouTube channels to promote my products is now a real possibility. I started this just, trying to help one or two people, and I've realised that I've helped 25 people. These opportunities you cannot imagine before you start the new activity, which is beneficial, and that path emerges. And the reason you have to push on through this slightly negative stage, which we were all expecting, is because you want to see where that path leads to. And if you don't get over this bump in the road, you'll never, ever know. So keep going, push. I'm going to keep doing these videos, and this feeling will only be temporary. And we can keep enjoying this, you can keep getting something out of this, and I'm going to find out where this path leads to. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed today.